Hey y'all, hey y'all. Y'all let us know if you can't hear us. If we're in here jamming too loud or not loud enough.
Let us know.
We definitely want you guys to make sure that you're paying attention to today's topic. It's something that is needed. It is definitely needed. So,
something that's not talked about enough. So.
Yeah, we go ahead and start.
Alright, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mary J.
And I'm X.
And
you're now tuned in to
Two Chicks and a Mic.
So pay attention.
Because we got some shit to say.
Hey. Uh-oh.
Alright. Our first current event for today, we're going to talk about the effects of the pandemic on the suicide rate of the United States population. During the pandemic, the country was forced to lock down and limit certain activities, such as attending school and social gatherings. Before the pandemic, suicide was the 10th leading cause of death, claiming the lives of 47,500 people in 2019. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Contrary to what you may think, a study done in May 21 showed that the suicide rate did not increase. In fact, there was actually a decrease in the United States and many other countries. But there were studies showing that depression was higher amongst many people, pretty much due to poor living conditions. And that's understandable. A lot of people lost their jobs.
A lot of people lost their loved ones.
Yeah.
They lost some people because they lost their jobs. They lost their homes. So, you know, I can totally understand how depression could have sunk in a little deeper, a little faster, and a little more prevalent this year or this past year than it has before. Because who knew anything about COVID-19 before 2019? 2020, really. So I can totally understand how that number would change. Not a lot of people know how to deal with depression either. I know you guys have heard about Sha'Carri Richardson. She is the fastest woman in the world. 100-meter dash. Miss Richardson this past week has tested positive for marijuana. We're gonna say THC, but marijuana, however y'all want to put it, which disqualifies her, and it also puts her on a 30-day suspension from the Olympics. So this will keep her from competing, which sucks. But at the same time, you got to give her props because she did own up to smoking. She said she was wrong for what she did. She understood the consequences, but given the circumstances, like a week before she went out for the trials, she had just lost her biological mom, and some people can't deal with that. I personally understand where she's coming from. I lost my mom 10 years ago, and the week of her death, I was scheduled to go and become an airman. I wanted to be in the Air Force, the Navy. I wanted to be a part of the armed forces. I really did. But for the whole month of May, I was elevated. I was elevated because that was the only way I knew how to deal with it. And this is her way of dealing with it. She went to drugs. It's not like it was alcohol. It's not like it was so dope, because people do worse things than smoke weed.
Yeah.
I hate it. It put her in this predicament because she was really on the road to being, and I mean, she still can be the fastest woman in the world. She's only 21 years old, baby girl. Keep pushing. But because of that, like, people made such a big deal out of it, but it brought protests from Patrick Mahomes and also from point guard, NBA point guard, Damian Lillard. Like, people are saying, just let it go, because weed should be legal now. It's legal in a lot of states, so I don't see why it should be banned from sports. It's not an enhancer. People just smoke. It keeps people from being in their mind. So, you know.
And I also feel like people should just stop judging people on how they tend to deal with certain things.
Because not everybody deals with the depression or life in general the same way the next person does. And we talked about it in May. May was Mental Health Awareness Month. And we are going to do our due diligence to make sure that you guys are being mentally aware every month. We're going to make sure that we highlight some kind of this awareness, because every now and then we need somebody to check in and be like, hey, friend, you okay?
You good?
You all right? So, especially in our culture and with what's going on, you know, it's kind of looked at as a bad thing for us to go and see a shrink or to do therapy at all when it's actually needed. So with that being said, today's topic is about life, depression, and suicide.
Yes. In this year alone, more than 2 in 5 adults ages 18 and older has experienced symptoms of anxiety and depression disorder. 1 in 4 adults whom experienced these symptoms reported that they knew they needed, but they did not receive counseling or therapy for their mental health. And that's the problem. Mental health is very important. Lots of times we find ourselves focusing on our physical health and appearance because we care so much of how we're perceived by the society. But no matter how good you look, your mental health is always 10 times as important. And we forget about it sometimes. So then when you go through things, you feel like it's the worst thing ever. You feel like, oh my goodness, why me? Why am I going through this? But why not you? If you haven't been focusing and trying to help your mental health as well as you do physically. Because physical appearance and all that, that's not, it's important. It is important, but
it fades.
Yeah.
It definitely fades.
And like I've also seen that studies have shown that school shootings it's been more school shootings since I think it was last May 2020 to now than it has ever been. They're saying that the pandemic probably caused that or whatever, because you never know what people are going through.
You never know what these kids are going through. We, as adults, as parents, we worry so much about bills and about like going places and doing things, but we forget about our kids. We're stressed out at work, and we come home. We may take it out on the kids. They have nothing to do with what you got going on at work, outside of this house, and here you are beating this baby up, and
you don't know what they went through that day,
right?
That week. Did you sit down and talk to them to see how their week's been going, how their day went?
Those school shootings are happening from kids under the age of 15, some as young as 10. And baby, what you going through at 10 years old that you feel like you gotta take your life? But I don't know. Maybe you didn't eat today. Maybe you ain't ate in weeks. Maybe Billy over here has been picking on you about your shoes because they got holes in them, but your mama can't buy you nothing because she got no job because we're in a pandemic. So parents, please pay attention to your kids. Pay attention to your kids.
It was a young child in Minneapolis. It's a school in Minneapolis. He was 12 years old. Once the COVID finally came about, he was made to move. His family moved to another city or whatever, and it was said that He had to finish elementary school online. Then he had to move away from his friends that he was, grew up with, and had to go to middle school, starting off online. But once they started letting certain kids come back to school, he was one of the ones who went. And it was hard for him to make friends. He was coming to school and he wasn't talking to anyone, and even his parents noticed that when he was at home, he was laying down more. He wasn't really talking. And one day he went and got his father's gun. I think this was in May of 2021. He went and got his father's gun that his father had been preaching to him, don't touch this. Don't, he knew not to, but he was so depressed, and he took it to school and he shot in the air. He didn't kill himself. He didn't want to kill himself. The child said that he wanted the police to kill him because he felt like it wouldn't be a sin to God. And I really don't like talking about that.
Wow. At 12?
12.
12 years old, that poor baby is contemplating how he wants to die. He'd rather somebody else take his life than for him to take his own life, when in actuality it's him taking his own life. He just set it up to where it looks like somebody else took his life. That's disheartening to know that our babies are out here really hurting like that.
Yeah, and having to deal with things by themselves. I'm pretty sure he mentioned it to his parents. And I'm not saying his parents, I'm pretty sure they tried to talk to him and help him. But
it's different than when we were growing up. It's so much different than when we were growing up. They have social media. They got their phones for everything. So, again, there's no telling what was going on with him at school. Him having to meet these new people. And everybody's already grouped up, clicked up, already got their friends. And here you are, newbie. We'll know you. Can't sit here. Seats taken type thing.
And you have to teach your kids not to be like that.
Don't be
As
bullies.
far as, like my child, I make sure I tell her, be friends, be nice. Be nice, because you never know. And what if it was you? What if it was you at a new school? What if it was you didn't have any friends? Wouldn't you want somebody to talk to you? We have to teach our kids to don't be bullies, of course. And not always just saying they're being a bully just because they don't want it. They're used to, of course, their own friends. But it's nothing wrong with
meeting new
people.
friends.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. And maybe it could have been one kid that would have stopped him from doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's really just sad, just knowing that there's a lot of things people go through
Quietly, secretly, alone.
but they feel like they have nobody.
Alone.
And
I'm no counselor. I don't always have the answers. I definitely don't. But for any of my friends, if you're going through something, call me. I don't want you out here by yourself, thinking you out here by yourself. You ain't got nobody to talk to. I know how to be quiet. It might seem like I don't know how to hush, because I'm trying to, hey, why don't you do this or why don't you do it? Because I'm trying to spread some kind of positivity, some kind of light. But I can sit and listen. They have a suicide hotline, but who really wants to call and have to answer personal questions like, what's your name, what's your birthday, what's your social security number? I don't know if they go that deep into it, but like, if you guys see something different going on with your friends, don't ignore it. Or if
don't
somebody
talk
that you
about
work
it.
with,
Don't go and talk about it to your other friends. Talk to them.
talk to them.
There's a lot of stuff that you could find out just by talking, just by being a listening ear.
And don't push them if they don't want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Just don't push them. Just make sure that you let them know that you are available for them to listen to. Because I hate for me to know that I could have helped somebody. I was just too busy caught up in what I had going on. It don't take much to just stop 5 minutes. Share a smile. I tell people that all the time. Share a smile.
Yeah.
Share a smile. Your smile might be the highlight of somebody else's day.
Something so simple.
Something
as a smile.
simple.
Yep.
Share a smile. The reason why we put it as life, depression, and suicide is because that's usually how it happens. Something has happened in somebody's life. And they didn't really know how to deal with it. They didn't really know what to do. It wasn't expected. And some situations may have been that it was expected. But again, you still didn't know how to handle the situation. So now you're depressed. And again, you're still trying to figure things out. Like, what do I do? Who do I call? Who can I call? Do I have anybody to talk to? And when you feel like you're a lonely man out on this deserted island by yourself, it's like, well, dang, what do I have to live for? Anybody missing me? I've been out here on this island by myself for a while, and had nobody even tried to send no boat. I done shot up smoke signals. I done did whatever. Yeah, we gotta be there for our people. You gotta be there for yourselves. If you need some help, there are hotlines, not suicide hotlines. You know what I mean? Like there are support groups here in Albany. If you want to start a support group
That'd be real good.
if you know what I mean, if you want to start a support group and you know enough people, let's do that. We can do that. But y'all, when people come tell y'all their business, it's not for you to go spread. It's not for you to laugh at. It's not even for you to really do anything but help. If that's what they're asking. But if they're asking you to listen, just be quiet. Just be quiet.
Yeah. And sometimes it's easier to talk to someone other than a friend. Someone who really don't know your past is going to judge you and be like, you're only going through this because of this. It don't matter why they're feeling like this at the time. It don't matter what they did in the past to make them feel like it, like how they're feeling. It's your job. If somebody comes to you and talk to you and want help, yeah, it's not for you to judge why. Because why don't it, at that point, it don't even matter. So sometimes it is easier probably to talk to someone who you don't talk to every day. That's how I feel. Like, a lot of people don't know, but I really don't drink how I used to. I was a social drinker. I like to, because I'm shy. I'm very shy. And I don't like talking to people. I don't even like being around people unless I drink. I don't know why, but it's just always how I've always been. Like, I have to drink to be around people. These last few months, I don't know what happened, but I can't drink anymore. I can drink a wine, like wine maybe, or a mixed drink or something like that. But as far as me taking shots and stuff, like, I can't do it no more. It makes me sick. And for a while, I was going through a depressed stage, and a lot of people, not even a lot, really nobody knew it. That I used to sit at home and just cry like, Mary, what's going on? Why? The fact that I wasn't drinking, I couldn't be around people. So at that point, I really was just alone. I would just sleep all day. It was crazy. And I didn't understand more than anything, why was I going through this? What happened? It ain't like I got sick to make me stop drinking. Well, sick as in maybe a hangover or something, but not as far as something serious, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just like one day I just woke up and the smell of it made me sick. Like, even just to look at a bottle of liquor now makes me sick. And I don't understand it. Maybe it ain't for me to understand, but for a while, I swear, I was going through a very sad time.
And drinking was your medicine.
And the fact that I couldn't drink, it was like I had nobody. And then, like not a lot, but a few people who did know about it, they'll be like, let's go ahead, let's take a shot. It'll help. No, I don't try that. it was making it worse. It was making me feel worse. Once I stopped drinking, like once I leave from wherever I'm at, once I go back home sick and still in my mind just not understanding what's going on in my life, why is this happening to me? I can't even explain the feeling. So I understand when people go through stuff. Like,
alone. It's scary. I made a post the other day about having peace in your home. And one of my Facebook friends said, actually, the prison is in your mind. And I can agree with that, because you can have peace in your home, but if you're somewhere else in your mind while you're at home, it's really kind of pointless for that peace to be in your home, because mentally you're already drained, you're already exhausted, you're already worried about whatever it is that's holding you prisoner in your own mind. So for me, I used to write poems. I hadn't really had the motivation to write anything lately, and that's just because I find other ways to cope with my bad days. I have a lot of bad days, because I'm not really sure, like you said, people's perception. I'm not really sure how people view me. But if if y'all got me somewhere up here, please tone it down a little bit, tone it down, cause my mama already gave me, my mama and my dad already gave me high expectations. My name is Excellent. It's not excellent, but to everyone else, that's exactly what I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be excellent. I'm supposed to be perfect. Guess what? I ain't, and I'm never gonna try to be. I'm gonna do the best excellent I can be, and that's all I ask for all of you, to just be the best you. If you need help, ask for it. Don't ever be afraid to ask for help. The only dumb question is a question unasked. But if it's something that you guys do not know, if there's some help that you need, we will definitely list the support groups that we have here, and just support groups in our neighboring counties for those of you who need help.
Because never feel like you're alone. I promise you, it's so many people going through things probably even worse than you. It's crazy. Like, so, and I know a lot of times when you're going through something, you feel like, why me? Or it's just you looking at everybody else, how they're living their life. That's probably how they're covering it up. Just like I said, yes, it looks good. Yeah. And just like I said, when I was feeling how I was feeling a few months ago, and honestly, it's just now starting to, I'm kind of coming to grips with it. I didn't talk to nobody. I mean, I didn't voice my opinion on it. I didn't just let everybody know I'm so depressed. If you seen me somewhere, if you did, you would think I got it all. You would think I'm happy. I'm always joking and stuff, but a lot of times I was doing that. I like to laugh to feel better. Like, laughter is my medicine. Or even making people laugh. So don't ever feel like you're alone, that you're the only one. Because you're not. I promise you're not.
We all go through our storms. It's just a matter of us making sure that we see the sun on the other side of it. Like I tell you, joy comes in the morning. A lot of us can't wait till morning. A lot of us can't wait till morning. So find your silver lining in every situation. I try my best to do that. And anytime somebody brings me any of their problems, or if they just want to talk to me, like, I try to find a silver lining in all of it. And folks just be like, nah, it ain't. But there are so many people that are going through far worse than what you're talking about. Not saying that what you're talking about isn't important, but find another way to look at it. Find another way to go about it. If it's a person that's putting you in this depressed state, remove yourself, or choose to deal with them in a certain way. If it's that there's nothing wrong with taking me time. Sometimes we have to have that. And we're not saying just neglect all of your responsibilities, but take time for yourself. Even if it's 5 minutes a day, if you listen to your favorite gospel song, your favorite song that makes you happy, makes you dance, find something that brings you joy, and in that sense, you live in it. Live in it.
Yep. And what she said about finding me time, that's what I'm starting to realize. Like, maybe it was time for me to just be by myself. I was always around people, drinking, having fun, taking in all these different energies from everybody, these different vibes. Like, that was probably messing with my, my mental, you know what I'm saying? So now that I don't drink and stuff and be around people, maybe that's just what I needed to restart.
Get back to you.
Yeah.
Get back.
I'm still trying to understand. Like, I don't understand what made me stop or why I can't be the Mary that I was, that I love to be. But I'm slowly just coming up with just different, I guess, reasons as to why this might be happening to me. I don't understand it, but at the end of the day, I got faith in God, and I know that He's taking me through this for a reason.
People always talk about cliches, but I honestly believe that God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. So if you feel like you're out there by yourself, or you're still questioning, hey, why me? Think about what you've already been through. Think about what you've already been through and what you've already overcome, and say, hey, why not me?
Right, why not you?
I done beat this. I can beat this small thing to a giant. Small thing to a giant. Small thing to a giant.
And like X said, we will be listing
support groups and numbers that you guys can call. Like I said, I don't always have the right things to say, but I'm more than open to listening to anybody if you need somebody to talk to. Because we may be going through some of the same things, but you just see me and think I got it together. Meanwhile, I'm over here pulling my hair out. I think that's why I grew locks.
I can make it look good. That's it.
Just dress it up. Meanwhile, there's a bald spot in the middle of my head. I'm lying, y'all. I'm lying. I'm really lying. I promise. I got all my hairs. All my hairs.
So but
it was a serious topic, very serious conversation. We did want to get on here and just share our viewpoints on mental health and how life can sometimes throw some stones in there. Sometimes it might put a wall right in your way. But there are ways around it, ways over it,
ways through it.
You feel me? So just take some time for yourselves and find something that you like to do. Find a hobby. Find something to keep your mind going. Something going towards something positive, to where it's your mind's not idle and it's just sitting around thinking about, oh my God, what I do now. So we also want to make sure that we continue to highlight all of the small businesses around small Bennett, Georgia. So this week's highlight is
Clear Vision Tint. I don't know if you've heard of it. Carlos Daniels is the owner of it. He has very great prices on window tint. It only takes him 2.5 or 3 hours to complete. Most vehicles, depending on the size and the amount of windows. Me and X just got a new car, and he's gonna do ours. Like, he's really good. He's been doing it for a little over a year now, and like I said, his prices are a lot cheaper than like Nick's, other businesses. Not to knock them, but just to give you more options on people, just in case whoever else does it is not have an opening or something. Check him out. You can always check him out. His name is Carlos Daniels. We're gonna post it in the comments, You can hit him up on Messenger. I also asked him what would someone need in order to start a business such as the one that he has, and he said time, lots of funding, and dependability. So just keep it in mind if you need your car tinted, your windows.
Is he mobile?
He is. You can either bring it to him or he can come to you. You can't beat it.
Can't beat it.
He gonna have us looking good. You hear me?
Stunning.
It's clear.
Like my dad.
Clear Vision Tint. The owner is Carlos Daniels, and we will be listing him below in the comments.
Well, we want to thank the few viewers that did come on today for tuning in to Two Chicks and a Mic. And based off of what my co-host had to say, you see today, we didn't even have any alcohol. We are working towards a better lifestyle for ourselves. So, hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all next Sunday.
Oh, yes.
Peace. Anyway.